Okay, section 4.1, here comes exponential model. First of all, we need to know the equation. N is equal to P times A to the T power. This formula will be used in textbook and the software. So this formula we will memorize for the exponential model. P is the initial value, and you remember it means T has to be equal to 0. A is a factor, a new word that you have to memorize. There are several things about factors. If your A is greater than 1, this factor has a special name. We call this a growth factor. When your A is greater than 0 but less than 1, this factor has a different name. We'll call this decay factor. And pay attention, your A is never negative. If you have A less than 0, it means you did something wrong. You have to redo the work and find the correct answer for A. Let's review the first example for this section. Again, you keep in mind we're talking about an exponential model, so we have to use this formula. Example number 1. Write the formula for an exponential function with initial value 23 and growth factor 1.5. Okay, this is the equation. You have to read the problem and tell me, do you know P? P is initial value. Yes, we know the initial value. The initial value is 23. So your P is equal to 23. A is our factor. Do we know factor? Yes, it says the growth factor is 1.5. It means A is equal to 1.5. It will be really useful if you will pay attention right now towards growth factor, because in section 4.2 you will have to use a lot, and it's something new that we have not used in this class yet. Growth factor. It means your factor is greater than 1. We have to keep this in mind. So we know the initial value, we know the factor, we are ready to write the equation down. N is equal to 23 times 1.5 to the T power. The other way you can see when in the software they write it down the same answer this way, 1.5 to the T power. And in the software, unfortunately, they put T inside of parentheses. I guess people who wrote this program, they're not mathematicians, because T has to be outside of parentheses to make sense. So one way or the other, this is the equation for this problem. It will be the first problem in your homework. Then you will have to choose the correct graph. We learn how to graph, so hopefully this part won't be too hard for you. You know that initial value will be 23, and initial value is your y-intercept. So the first things when you look at your graphs, you will have 4 graphs, and you have to choose the right one. Look the line that goes through this, and the line is supposed to go this way. Your graph will never go below x-axis. It will go really close to the x-axis, but never below x-axis. Not written when it's written in this way. And then you remember that you can go to the table and find a couple points and check which points will fit best to the graph that you have in your software. I hope it won't be any big deal for you. Let's review the next example. Example number 2. An amount A is initially 4. To find the next week amount, we multiply this week's amount by 7. Find the formula that gives this amount. Guys, you know that I like tables. Let's review the table. Here will be my T, here is my A. When it's 0, an amount A is initially 4. So it will be 4 here, see? And this is first week, not first week, in the beginning week, after 1 week. To find next week amount, we have to multiply by 7. So it will be 4 times 7, and it will be 28. How will we find next week? Again, we will take 28 and multiply by 7. So it will be 28 times 7, and keep going, so on. It means A is equal to 7. So we know P is equal to 4. We know A is equal to 7. And we are ready to write the formula down. So it will be N equal to 4 times 7 to the power T. Done. Mainly you have to read the problem carefully, and you always have to look for the initial value and the factor. All this homework is about reading and understand new vocabulary, initial value and factor, and how they connect with each other. Okay, let's move to the next example. Suppose that f is an exponential function with growth factor 2.5 and that f of 0 is equal to 3. Find the equation. Here's our exponential equation because we are talking about exponential function. So you always have to start. Do we know P? What do you think? Do we know P or not? We talked about this before. This is a point that reading as a function, but we have to see that point is 0 and 3. X is equal to 0, your y is equal to 3. What kind of point is this? This is your initial value. So yes, we know the initial value. Your initial value is 3. Next question. Do you know the factor for this problem? Yes, it's written right here with the growth factor 2.5. So my A is 2.5. We're ready to write the equation down. N is equal to 3 times 2.5 to the t power. You can put this inside of parentheses just to make it more visual. The 2.5 is your factor. The other things you will need to find n of 5. So it will be 3 times 2.5 to the 5th power. I will not teach you how to do this. You know this already. You're pretty good with this. So you will calculate this on your own. If you have any questions about this problem or any other problem, please email me. I check my emails. If I am not shooting the videos, I check my emails. So I will answer all your emails. Okay, this is the last example for this section. During the period from 2003 through 2010, gold price doubled every 3 years. What is the yearly growth factor? What do you think? Normally people said, okay, it's double, it's mean 2. but they don't pay attention that it's doubles every 3 years. So it's not 2, it's something else. Again, my favorite tables. This is my years time since 2003, and this is the price of gold. So in the beginning, in 2003, do we know the price? I don't see it. So I will say it's my P. Initial value, it's my P. What happened next year? Next year, the price went up, so you multiply by some kind of number A that we don't know, but we know the name for this is a factor, a yearly factor, because it happened in 1 year. After 2 years, what happens? It will be P times A, right? After 3 years, it will be P times A 3 times. You remember. The exponential model is when you multiply by the same number. That's called a factor each time. So you see, after 3 years, from here, I'm going right here. After 3 years, the price will be P times A to the third power. Do you understand where I got this from? From here. Now I will read the problem again. The price doubled. If my price in 2003 was P, what will be the price in 2006? Double. It means it will be 2P. Do you see it? In this case, P times A to the third power is supposed to be equal to 2 times P. Nice equation. How will we solve it? Don't complicate. It's multiplication here, multiplication here. What is the opposite of multiplication? Division. So we will divide by P, divide by P. P will cancel out, and we will have a new equation. It will be A to the third is equal to 2. How will we solve this equation? I told you already, to solve any equation, you have to do opposite. Here, 3 is a number and it's an exponent, and to get rid of this number, remember we had inverse functions. And when we learn inverse functions in class, I told you that we will have something like this. So to get rid of this 3, we will raise both sides to the power 1 over 3. And we have to do the same over here. Because 3 times 1 over 3 will give you 1. In this case, it will be A is equal to, and 2 to the power 1 over 3 that you can type on a calculator and calculate and round your answer to 2 decimal places. It's what they ask. So if you calculate, it will be A equal to 1.26. This is your yearly factor. And you can check, if you multiply 1.26 by itself 3 times, you will get the number close to 2. It won't be exactly 2 because we are rounding A, but it will be close to 2. This is your yearly factor. This technique you will use a lot. So look at this carefully. Be sure that you understand everything. If you need more help, let me know. How do you understand this yearly factor? It means every year the price went up by multiplying by 1.26. So we had original price. To calculate next year price, you have to multiply by 1.26. Next year, you will have to multiply by 1.26 again. This is the last problem that I want to show. Have a good day. If you have any questions, let me know.